So we started off the unit solving quadratic equations, and we're going to end the unit solving quadratic equations. So if you look at all these equations, they only have one x term. This one only has this x term, this one only has this x term, this one only has this one, and this one only has this one. We're used to quadratic equations, ax squared plus bx plus c, having two x terms. So this bx is missing, which allows us to solve these in a different way, because so far we've only factored and used the quadratic formula. You can absolutely use the quadratic formula on these, but it's actually the longer way to do it, because if I only have one x, I can use my solving equations technique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the 8. So x squared is equal to 25. 25 is a perfect square, so we can take the square root of it and get a whole number. But this is the only thing that's different, because we know the square root of 25 to be 5, right? But we have to do the positive and the negative version of the square root of 25, and I'll explain why. So the positive version of the square root of 25 is 5. Negative square root of 25 is negative 5. Okay, so the square root of 25 is 5. You just need to put the positive version and the negative version. Here is why. Because 5 squared is 25 plus 8 is 33. But negative 5 squared, negative 5 times negative 5, is also 25. Add the 8, you still get 33. So there's two possible answers. Now let's talk about where complex numbers come into play. So if I add 6 to both sides, so negative 55 plus 6 is negative 49. But this time, when I take the square root, I'm doing the positive and the negative of the square root of negative 49. Now that negative being on the inside changes things. So that negative, if I try to type that in the calculator, we know that is not possible with a real number. So we have to use that I value. The I value takes the place of that negative on the inside. So we have positive 7i, the I meaning there is a negative under the square root where there wasn't before. Then we still have to do the negative version of it, negative 7i. So the negative on the inside of the absolute value, or not the absolute value, sorry, the square root turns into the I. Positive underneath the square root, just fine, no big deal. Negative under the square root, use the I value. So let's do this one. So number 3, we have to divide by 2. So x squared is 36. So take the square root. So x is the positive and the negative square root of 36. 36 is positive, so this is going to be a real number answer. So 6 and negative 6 as our answer. So real number answers. So we'll see what happens with this one. So divide by negative 3. That's negative 100. Take the square root to get rid of the squared. So we have positive and negative square root of negative 100. So this is going to be an imaginary answer. So we use the I to take care of the negative, and then we just take the square root of 100, which is 10. So 10i and negative 10i with imaginary answers.